Welcome back to It's in the Details. As always, please remember to smash those buttons. Tell a friend to tell a friend if you're enjoying the show. Today, we are getting into Parasite. Y'all know I have an affinity for the Korean stuff. It's been going on for months now, actually years, because the first piece that I really took in was Parasite, and I watched it for a second time, and I got to talk to the people. But first, Power is back. Power Book 2, Ghost, is back. And I've been talking about Raising Kanan and how good Raising Kanan is. I have not yet started BMF. But I was talking about how good Raising Kanan is, and it's good. You know what's better? Power Book 2, Ghost, is better. It's better. It's not a competition. They don't need to be fighting with one another. They're all good, right? But it's weird calling it the original because there's so much of the cast that are holdovers, but it's a spinoff, but it's the original. You know what I mean? And man, okay. So it started this past week, the second season. And to get ready for the second season, I watched the season finale of the first season. You know what I found out when I watched that season finale? I found out that Michael Rainey Jr., who plays Tariq, Tariq, not Michael Rainey Jr., Tariq, I did not enjoy for the first 90% of the original series. He was not for me. He was that character that all these shows put in just to disturb the stuff that you want to happen. And they're just in there screwing stuff up, right? They have these characters in all the shows. I don't know why. It's not like it creates tension for the show. It's just a hurdle for the main characters that are unnecessary. They're unnecessary hurdles. There's enough going on in these people's lives without someone screwing it up, right? So Tariq was that dude in the original Power. You heard me talk about the Blacklist. Elizabeth Keene, she was screwing stuff up for Raymond Reddington all the time in the Blacklist. And even, I can't remember her name, the daughter in Ozark. The daughter in Ozark is one of the best I'm screwing stuff up for the main character person, and I should be on the main character side. She's one of the best characters that has ever been created in television for that specific thing. So that's who Tariq was. Last season and a half of the regular series, the first series, he came around and I don't know about you, but I started to really enjoy Tariq. Then they gave Tariq his own show. They gave Michael Rainey Jr. his own show. And wow. Okay? This young man is a ferocious actor. Okay? I'm putting a little bit extra on it. I think I realize I'm putting a little bit extra on it because he, to some degree, has been playing the same role for like 10 years. Like, what his characters needed to do throughout the journey of this series and shows has changed. It's definitely changed, but he's been playing a version of the character for a long time. That should not discount from the skills this man is putting on the screen. Okay? And I personally feel privileged to get to watch it. Because I think he was maybe 8, 10 years old when the show started. And he admittedly wasn't asked to do much. I'm not going to say he wasn't good at acting then. I'm just saying he wasn't asked to do that much back then. Right? And I feel privileged because now we're at this point where you're like, oh, this young man, he's going to be around for a while. I don't know that he's going to fight with Michael B. Jordan and these other people for their roles. But he's going to be around for a while. We're going to get to watch this career flourish. And it feels to me, it harkens back to a time, if you will, of a young Dakota Fanning. I'm not sure they're in the same class, but a young Dakota Fanning, Man on Fire with Denzel Washington. If you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. If you haven't seen it, go get it. Dakota Fanning was like 7 or 8 years old, 6 years old maybe, in Man on Fire, and killing it. You're just like, where's this young child pulling these emotions from? You don't have the life experience to be pulling on these emotions. You take direction like no other, or Old Soul, could be some Old Soul business where she just, maybe reincarnation is real. Maybe she is calling on things from another life. But that young lady was killing it, 6, 7, 8 years old, right? And then we got to watch her career. It stalled out for a little bit. She just went away, at least to me, she went away for a good 5, 6 years. Maybe she was focused on school, whatever. But she's doing some things now. She was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, had a very disturbing, tiny little role in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. But this is the same vibes I'm getting from Michael Rainey Jr. because he's putting it down in Power. Okay? Something else about Power, and you've heard me talk to a couple friends about it, MJB. MJB, Mary J. Blige. I've had a love-hate with Mary J. Blige and Power. One of my friends, my good friend Ricketts, back in like episode 3 of this podcast, I think it was episode 3, had some not so kind things to say about Mary J. Blige. I personally thought she was a bit of a roller coaster. She had some really good moments that I was really fond of, and she had some not so good moments that we don't really need to bring up again. But season 2, episode 1, Mary J. Blige is on the screen, first 45, 50 seconds, whatever. She thinks someone broke in the house, okay? And Mary J. Blige got her piece. She got that thing, right? She picked it up, went downstairs to check out what's going on in her house, and displayed some of the worst acting I've ever seen. She's coming downstairs to check and see if anybody's there. She's headed one direction, thinks she heard a noise coming from another part of the room, and the way she changes her focus from that first thing to the next thing, it's like, did anybody tell her she was supposed to be startled? You know? Like, there might actually be an intruder. I understand you got that thing, right? But the way it's just not, the physical acting was not there, okay? But the other thing about Power is like, it's like the writers are listening to social media. They're checking it all out. And they're finding out that not everybody's so happy about Mary J. Blige's acting, and they have upped her script. They punched it up because the words that are coming out of her mouth are on point. The timing's getting there. But they're putting a little Band-Aid on the MJB acting situation. You know what I mean? They put a Band-Aid on it. If she can't do it physically, we're gonna give them the words. We're gonna give them the words to be satisfied with what's going on screen until she catches up, and that's possible. That's totally possible. Totally possible. But the show's back, and I did not know how much I missed it. This is gonna sound strange, but I turned on that season finale episode from season 1, and it felt like family. It felt like, I know these are some murderer, drug dealers, criminals, just terrible, awful people, a lot of them. And I was like, ooh, I'm back in the warm embrace of Power. You know, it's like a warm hug. That's what it felt like. And then when season 1 started, I let that theme song play because 50 hit us with a banger. Maybe, like I've said, maybe one of the best theme songs we've ever had in television, right? So I let that theme song play, and I was like, back in 50s Power criminal universe warm embrace for another 10 or so episodes. And you know what else they gave us? Method Man is a lawyer, and they gave us Redman as his brother. Method Man and Redman on screen together. What else is there to say? Before we get into Parasite, okay? Before we get into Parasite, I gotta say something. I'm a Jeopardy watcher. The people know, I think the people know I'm a Jeopardy watcher. If you don't know, now you know. I'm a Jeopardy watcher. I wouldn't say I catch every single Jeopardy episode. I catch probably 80-90% of the Jeopardy episodes. And this past string of episodes have been good. They've had a few good champs come through. Five wins. Matamodio won millions. 1.7 million, 1.4, something like that. He was on for like a full month. Okay. But I'm not here to talk about the champs. I'm here to talk about a loser. I said loser. This person got $1,000 for showing up on Jeopardy, okay? Probably a lifelong dream to show up on Jeopardy. And you got $1,000. You didn't go home empty-handed. But you also got a story to tell. And this dude that was on Jeopardy last night did not get to go to Final Jeopardy, which happens. It happens to, I think, more people than we know don't make it to Final Jeopardy. And I'm not here to defame people that don't make it to Final Jeopardy. I personally don't think I could qualify for Jeopardy. I'm not that smart. I'm not well read enough to make it on Jeopardy. I get that. A good night for me on Jeopardy, 10, 15 answers, Final Jeopardy, bang that out, right? You know what I mean? That's a good night for me. I feel good. I feel accomplished. My worst nightmare is I make it on Jeopardy somehow, and not only do I not make Final Jeopardy, but I answer a bunch of questions in ways people are like, can he read? Can he read? Can he hear as they read these clues? That's my worst nightmare, right? But y'all, last night on Jeopardy, this dude did not make Final Jeopardy, and he scored minus $6,400. Okay? $6,400 minus. My man kept shooting those shots. He kept putting it up. Even when all the daily doubles were gone, there's only about $1,500 left on the board. My man kept ringing in and getting them questions wrong. Poor Ken Jennings. I like Ken Jennings as a host, and I think it's smart that he, if he was asked, said no to being a permanent host on Jeopardy. But I would love Ken Jennings to be the host on Jeopardy. Mayim Bialik, no disrespect. Blossom, I like you too. And you're showing up with some outfits that I enjoy. I really enjoy some of Blossom's outfits. But Ken Jennings was out here. Who is the government? Oh, sorry. That's wrong. Ooh, close. Nope, sorry. Nope, sorry. Nope. Ooh, nope, wrong. Close again. Ooh, just missed it. You added in an extra syllable. Ken Jennings was pulling out all of the charismatic, I'm not going to make you feel bad for answering all these question wrong replies. He had all of them, and he had to use all of them because homeboy, minus 6,400. And again, that guy's smarter than me. I'm sure of it. I'm positive, right? But it was a real worst case scenario situation for this man. And it made me do some digging. He was not the worst ever. The worst ever was minus $7,000. And that only happened a few weeks ago. Okay, I missed it. I can't believe I missed it. They broke the record, which was minus 6,800. All right, so minus 7,000, minus 6,800. I think Homeboy might have been the third worst Jeopardy. I don't know if it's player, but scorer in history. History. Can you imagine? Can you imagine telling people you're going to be on Jeopardy and then they watch and find out you already knew when you told them that you were going to score minus $6,400 on Jeopardy? Child. I couldn't do it. I would lie. I would lie to everyone. Hey, didn't you fill out the Jeopardy exam? You were really excited about going on the show. Yeah, they canceled. They canceled on me last minute. They told me they're gonna try to get me on the show in 2023. There's just minus 6,400. Third worst. If there's only so much more room between 68 and 60, he's got to be third worst, right? Anyway, applause for making it on the show. That can't be easy. You must have studied hard. And sometimes, you know what? Maybe all the questions he had right, everybody buzzed in before him. I didn't see him time out on any of those questions. So, I mean, at least he gave it the good old college try. All right, y'all. Parasite. Parasite was probably maybe the first all subtitle-y foreign film I've watched. Maybe. I'm not positive about it. But I believe it's the first foreign movie Oscar winner that I watched in theater. Okay? I watched it in theater. I feel accomplished just by that fact alone. Okay? A little feather in my cap. You identify them, you go see them, and sometimes you're right. I don't win anything for it, but I'm excited that it happened. Two of my friends who are also into stuff, into movies and TV and things, reached out to me and they said, Parasite's on Netflix, watching it tonight. And I was happy for them because I knew they were going to feel the joy that I felt. It also reminded me that I've only seen Parasite once. Okay? Parasite, I have Crave in this house. Parasite's been on TV the last couple weeks. You flipping through the channels. I stop on Parasite, 20 minutes of my life disappears. Because Parasite's that good. When Parasite's on, you stop and you check it out. So my friend said, Parasite's on Netflix. I said, let me go check it out. I went to Netflix, watched it on Netflix, or went to look for it on Netflix, found it. You know what I did find? It was not trending. Wasn't trending. This is an Oscar winner. Best Picture. Was not trending. Bong Joon-ho, the man behind the movie, said, there's so much great entertainment. This is a paraphrase. There's so much great entertainment out there if people could just get past that 4-inch barrier on the screen. Subtitles. And it seems the movie coming out, everybody talking about how great it was, it winning Best Picture, now being available to you in your house for free, and people still aren't on it the way they need to be on it. Fine. There's a lot of stuff to watch. Tiger King's trending. Tiger King Part 2 is trending. But I'm not here to judge or make people feel bad about what they're watching. I'm just trying to get you to expand the stuff you're watching and make sure it includes Parasite. because it's fire. Okay? Now, Parasite is a movie about three Korean families, really. Three Korean families. And you've got a family a little bit down on their luck. Husband, wife, son, daughter, a little bit down on their luck. You got a family that is rich, big rich. And there's another family you kind of find out over time. That's all I'll say. I don't want to spoil anything. But Parasite is a movie you need to see because much like all of the Korean dramas and TV shows you've heard me talk about so far, it includes everything. Comedy, on point, just enough of it. Romance, a little questionable. The romance in this movie is a little bit questionable. I'm not gonna lie. You're wondering. You see it. Watch it. You'll have some questions about the romance in this movie, but there's romance. There are some scary things, and I don't know if this is spoiling it for you, but there's some scary things in this movie, but they're not that scary, right? You think something bad is about to happen and make you jump under your covers, but there's no need. But it's still spooky. Okay? It's still very uncomfortable. They create the Korean filmmakers, they have great ways of creating drama and discomfort on the screen that reaches you through the TV or big screen. And Parasite does it full bore. They don't hold back at all. Intrigue, cunning, conniving, all of it. And almost all the characters. They hit us with a cameo. There's a good 4 or 5 minute cameo from the star of Itaewon Class, which my brain couldn't put all together when I watched it. And when I watched Itaewon Class, it's not until I've seen all of them and come back around for the second time of Parasite that I noticed the star of Itaewon Class has a little piece in Parasite, and it's a fun little drop in. It's nice. And the house, the rich people's house in Parasite is. There are no words. It is art. They reference the house in the movie. They reference an architect. I didn't look up to find out if it was the real architect of this house, but if it is, applause. When I get rich, I'm going to see if you could build me a house. The house is fantastic. And there's even a section of the house that acts like art within the house. Like when you see it, it's breathtaking. They'll take your breath away if you're into that kind of stuff. But myself, I was watching the film thinking, if I lived in this house, how much time would I spend just staring at this one portion of the house? It's perfect. It's exactly what you would want a house to be. But one thing that really jumped out to me on the second viewing of Parasite is I've noticed myself, I have gone away from trying to figure out where these stories are taking me. I'm pressing play and I'm just jumping on the ride. I'll go where you want me to go, when you want me to get there. I'm not leaning ahead, trying to peer around corners and figure out what's happening. I'm just along for the ride, which I find inherently more enjoyable than what I did when I was younger, when I was like, what's going to happen next? Let me figure it out before we get there. I'm done with that, at least for now. I'm done with that. But I do like puzzles. I really do like puzzles. If you are a puzzle person and you want to solve what's going to happen throughout this movie, I'm sure on your first viewing, you could try to get that done. You could. I think you'll enjoy it. On your second viewing, like I just went through, you are realizing there are so many little breadcrumbs, Easter eggs, if you will, that they've planted throughout the script and the story and what you're looking at that will tell you what is going to happen later. And I think that's really enjoyable. Because on my second viewing, it's been years since I saw the movie. And I vividly remember specific things that are going to happen in this story. And now I'm looking out for them. I'm looking out to see if they've given them to me. And I caught quite a few the second time through. And I know the next time through, I'm going to catch even more, right? But if you're the type of person that wants to know the first pass, you could be paying really close attention and see if you're picking up these kernels, because they're everywhere. It's really strong story. So many aha moments when you're watching it the second time. I can't imagine the third, fourth, fifth time. And third, fourth, fifth time are times that need to happen watching this movie. You gotta watch this movie a couple times to really get into it. And the thing about handling something with subtitles that is acted very strongly, the actors put it down, is your first pass through, you're kind of darting your eyes, subtitles, faces. As you get through it a couple more times, you could kind of peter out the subtitle faces thing because you know the story. So you could even get up and really digest what these people are doing because they are acting their tails off. All of them. Adults to children. The children are great too. And then there's one young child in it who's putting it down, who really steals a couple scenes. He gets some real good laughs, at least from me. He got some real good belly laughs from me because this kid is supposed to be one thing. He's becoming something else. The movie is great, y'all. It is worth the Oscar it got. I'm not sure it has more than Best Picture, but if it doesn't, it should. Usually screenplay or director usually get, I think actually Bong Joon-ho might have got Best Director too, now that I think about it, but they usually pick up a couple because how are you going to get Best Picture without Best Director? How are you going to get Best Picture without screenplay? You know what I mean? You understand what I'm saying. But I was still, all of those good things said, I was a little bit appalled that it wasn't even in the top 10. And I know I don't really care about these trending things. I don't usually watch anything that is trending because I got a list that I got to get through anyway, right? But I was shocked that the people around me aren't here for Parasite yet. So, call to action. Go watch Parasite. You will not be disappointed. And once again, thank you very much for joining me here on It's in the Details. Please remember to share, like, subscribe, rate, review, comment, wherever you get the show. We'll see y'all in a week. Take care. Peace.